Most people define health as the absence of something. No illness, no diagnosis, no pain. But that's not actually how the body measures it. Your nervous system is constantly running in the process of activation and recovery. Activation and recovery. 24 hours a day, every second of it. It's a system that works together, that's based on activation and recovery. Never forget that. And whether this process of activation and recovery is working well or quietly breaking down has very little to do with what the test results are showing. And I will talk later about that based on also my personal experience. So watch towards the end. So today I want to get into what I am healthy statement really means in your body and in your brain, and how your entire body and brain assess what healthy really means, how the system is actually functioning well together. Because again, health is not a state you arrive at, but rather health is a process that you either support or you don't. Let's get into it. We treat health as a destination, right? You eat well, you exercise, you sleep well, and then eventually you arrive somewhere that's called being healthy. But let me tell you this, your body doesn't work that way. Health, believe it or not, is a dynamic process that happens in your body every single second. And if you want to learn more how this every single second really works in regards to cancer, go to our cancer channel, cancer@institute.org, and I explain to you what happened every single second in our body so that we either get cancer or we don't. So go ahead, I link our YouTube channel down below so you can go ahead and watch everything regarding cancer, healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, eating healthy, food, and this is in 8 languages. So please go ahead and check that out, okay? So I won't cover these things here, but on our cancer channel you will find myself there and I'm explaining you everything, okay? Your system is constantly monitoring signals, regulating organs, managing your stress response, and trying to keep everything in balance. This happens in our body every single second, okay? The question here is not whether something is wrong, but the question here is rather whether your system can handle what's coming at it and recover from it. You get that point? So what's coming at it and how it can recover from it, okay? Meaning if you eat super sugary food, or if you drink alcohol, if you smoke, is your body prepared for what's coming? And can your body, or does your body have the capacity to overcome what's coming at it and recover from it? And how long does it take to recover from it? You get that? That's health. That is what being healthy means, okay? The balance of these systems working together hand in hand. Let's dive deeper further into it.
Welcome to my practical brain lab experiments on a calm, stable life.
Welcome back everybody. My name is Dr. Ayguen Sahin. Yes, a real scientist, a cancer scientist, and a geneticist and cancer immunotherapy specialist. Here we are talking about week 10 of our 52-week neurohypersensitivity workbook, where we cover the statements in our neurohypersensitivity workbook. You can get your digital copy down below. I link it down below. Or you can get all these deep dives, 1 hour long deep dives every single week on my neurohypersensitivity community membership, where you can also get every single week's protocols or audits for free. They're all in there. You can get every single week neuro deep dives from me, and you can make your life happen and you can reach your 2.0 version. That's exactly why I'm doing this. So I want you to learn these from a real expert, from a real scientist who actually knows what she's talking about, okay? So much misinformation is out there, and I really would like you to understand the deep core information from real scientific research, and also to make sure that it is practical and easy to understand, which is always my thing. I like to explain the science in a simplified way. We do this on our cancer channel as well. That's why we are so successful there. And also here on my channel, I have also clients and students that are really benefiting within 72 hours, okay, or even 48 hours. So I really encourage you to get advantage of that from week 1 to week 9, all the deep dives, because it builds up from each other. They're all available already in the membership, in my neurohypersensitivity NHS community membership. And if you are a person with neurohypersensitivity, I also encourage you to take the 5 quick question quiz, so that you can actually get access to, as a person like me with neurohypersensitivity, because I'm building a community where research and advocacy and education is emphasized. So you can find more information about neurohypersensitivity on my website. There are a lot of information, but also stay tuned for my brand new YouTube channel, only focusing on neurohypersensitivity, okay? So we are diving into the system diagnostics, and I explained to you everything about the current topic. Then we do a core assignment. I explain to you what the core assignment, the audit, or the protocol is about. And then we're going into our weekly intuitive insight and our cognitive focus, either with gratitude or with success statements. And we'll wrap the week up, okay? So now let's get into this. So let's talk about what your brain and body are actually doing when you are well. And first, let's talk about what the system is that runs everything. At the heart of the physical health, there's something called the autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system controls everything that you are not consciously in control of. This includes your heart rate, your digestion, your breathing, and your immune response. Those are subconsciously always active. So meaning when you are moving your arm, you consciously moving your arm. You're consciously activating your nervous system because you tell your brain, or your brain tells, raise your arm. That's conscious, but subconsciously you're breathing because you have to breathe, right? You breathe, your heart is beating. Those are all muscles that are active, or the organs are constantly active. Your digestion currently is happening right now in your body. Those are subconsciously active, always active. That's what we are talking about here. And this autonomic nervous system has 2 modes. One is the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. We talked lengthy about this in our Rewire Your Brain with Gratitude 14 video deep dives, and those are all on my website, draygushahin.com/courses. Go into the gratitude course and you can watch all the replays of the deep dive nervous system, where I explain to you all the regions of the brain and their functions and how you can use them in your day-to-day life, okay? And this is why when I talk about here in this series about certain parts of your brain, I skip them over because I explain them and show them on the anatomic atlas. Every single day I was showing to you on the atlas the regions of the brain. So that's why I'm skipping these here and I refer you to those videos, all right? So the sympathetic nervous system, or the sympathetic mode, is what most people know as fight or flight. This mobilizes your resources when you face a challenge. Your heart rate goes up, you're breathing faster, your attention sharpens. This doesn't mean there's something wrong, but it actually is good. It shows that your system is working. We need that. It has to be in there. This is a normal function of your body. You want that to happen. The second thing is the parasympathetic mode that calms that system down. That is the recovery state. This is when your body repairs tissue, consolidate immune memory, and restores the balance in your body. And you also need this mode. So the activation and recovery, okay? And health does not mean you stay in one or the other. Health means your body can regulate the back and forth between the two. Again, health is not to stay in one state or the other, but rather it is going back and forth within the system in a fluid way. Or can your system, your body, go fluidly between these two systems? That is, my friend, health. The major measure of how well these two systems are working well together is something called heart rate variability, the natural variation in time between your heart rates. This sounds, I understand, very technical, but the concept is super simple. It basically means that a heart that can speed up and slow down appropriately is a healthy heart. That's what it means. Research consistently shows that higher heart rate variability is associated with better immune function, better emotional regulation, and better recovery from illness and stress. This is one of the most honest windows into how well your nervous system is actually working. The key nerve in the center of all of this is what? The vagus nerve. Again, I described the vagus nerve multiple times in very much detail in my previous videos. Again, this is under the Rewire Your Brain with Gratitude course. It's again on my website, draygenshahin.com/courses, and you will see the detailed explanation of the vagus nerve, as well as in the 30-day Journal with Me challenge with the 30-day techniques that I teach, is how I personally regulate the vagus nerve every single day. I teach this to you, and with the vagus nerve regulation, stimulation, and also in this neurohypersensitivity workbook, Neuro Deep Dives, week 1, I am safe. I talked a lot about the amygdala and how to regulate your amygdala as well as the vagus nerve. So again, even this series, it is the very first video. You can watch them all in the deep dives and the NHS, the neurohypersensitivity community membership. Vagus nerve, again, is the longest nerve in the body, from head to toe, if you will, and along the way from your brain, it connects your heart, your lungs, your gut, and helps them to function well. When the vagus nerve's activity is high, your recovery is also efficient. But when your vagus nerve is chronically suppressed, then it shows in your body as ongoing stress, poor sleep, or prolonged social isolation, and all of which combined will show as that your whole system starting to degrade. So after learning all of this, let's talk about number 2, why getting healthy someday doesn't work. Let's discuss that. Here's the problem with how most people think about health. Many people think as of health as it is something they will take care of later when things calm down. For example, I will take care of my health after this project. I will take care of my sleep after I finish this work. I will take care of my health after the holidays, after Thanksgiving, or after the New Year's, or after Christmas, or whatever holiday we are talking about. Most of the time I think of Thanksgiving because people eat it much, right? So it's always people I hear saying, oh, I will eat now and then later after Thanksgiving I'll take care of my body or my health or my eating or diet, whatever it is, right? I'm sure you have heard that a lot as well. Or I will take care of my health after the kids grow up. Now I'm very busy, right? We hear this a lot. I hear this really, really a lot. But the problem here is your nervous system doesn't wait. It won't wait. I told you in the beginning, every single second your body is doing the function, the process. So every second we are talking about health in our body, right? So every single day, if the stress response is activated and will not have a chance for recovery, what it does is that, right, if our health is moving, our nervous system is moving in this direction but not in the other direction, like activation, without recovery, what it does is that it expresses your stress hormone, the cortisol hormone, right? And when the cortisol hormone levels goes up, what happens? Your heart rates goes up. It discusses again in video number 1. In week number 1, I am safe, amygdala, vagus nerve, and I talked all about the cortisol hormone there. And I keep talking about this in every single video because it builds up with that, right? So cortisol hormone is very, very critical here. Cortisol hormone is useful in short bursts, but it's not helpful. Actually, it's detrimental for health when it's constantly at high levels, because it does first in challenging situation, it bursts up and then it helps us to sharpen your focus. Under stress conditions, right, you sharpen your focus, your heart rate goes up, mobilizes your energy, and helps you to respond in that critical and challenging situation. But the problem here is when your cortisol levels are high, it suppresses your immune system, your immune function. It disrupts also your sleep architecture, and it does promote, and I discuss this a lot also here on my channel, it promotes inflammation. Then it gradually wears down your systems that supposed to keep you healthy. And again, I also made a video, that's one of my go-to video that I made. My deep dive is unhealthy relationships make you ill. I also have a workbook associated with that. It's on my Ko-fi store and also on my website, draigenshine.com/store. And you can see it is also a kind of like an audit for you that you go over, and also there are some tips and tricks for you to overcome unhealthy relationships, because there I discussed the updated version of it is coming, where I integrated my video in that too, where it's so much details. I talk a lot about inflammation and cancer and how unhealthy relationship increases your cortisol level, increases your inflammation, and that can even lead to cancer as well. So that the second version of that more comprehensive version is coming as well. So I already planned that. But you can still get your workbook, your audit and workbook already on my website. Again, the researchers have found that, and this is a known fact in science, is that chronic low-grade inflammation, and this is when you are at ongoing stress, when you have lack of sleep or poor sleep, you eat a lot of processed food, sugary food, and if you are socially quite a bit of isolated. Now it is being understood based on the research is that this type of chronic inflammation, low-grade chronic inflammation, can lead to depression, cognitive decline, and as I mentioned, also metabolic diseases that can also include cancer. And that is, for me, from a cancer science perspective, I know that for a fact. It is a scientific fact, which I also, again, talked about this previously in my videos. And again, when we talk about the low-grade chronic inflammation, it is not about that you feel today or tomorrow. Maybe you won't feel it 2 years from now, and maybe this won't even show up in your lab tests. But your system will, and I guarantee you that, slowly degrade. This is why it is so critical to understand all of this, how your body activation and recovery works hand in hand. And that's why I keep saying this for, I don't know, decades, right? Why we must take care of our health every single day. Because our body works every single day. This system has to be in balance. When it's off balance, there can be a lot of illnesses, again, including cancer, whether or not you have genetic disposition. So a lot of bad lifestyle habits, this is a known fact, can cause cancer. So again, not only cancer, but there's a lot of other illnesses. I mean, depression is horrendous to have. Anxiety is horrendous to have. Poor sleep. Wake up during the nights with hot flashes when your stomach is full and you ate a lot of sugary food. You didn't had a lot of oxygen during the day. You didn't see the daylight. These all cause a great amount of horrendous issues in your body. So take care of all of this and understand what is behind of this, how this system works. And this is why I like to educate about the very basics of science, giving you examples on day to day so that it can help you to actually take care of everything in your life. Okay, again, we are talking today about health, but in my videos I talk about all of other things as well, mentally, physically, emotionally. As you can see, this has also a great deal of a mental health effect as well. So again, we cannot, and I'm telling you in my videos that mental, physical, emotional health is all connected. That's why my scientist total health transformation protocol, because this is how I saved my own life. Because MDs are focusing on one single thing, and that's why they may or may not find anything in your test results. Happened to me. They found nothing, but I felt I'm dying inside. This was a really horrendous time for 2021 to 2023. Like 2 years, I felt like I'm actually dying. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was like gone almost. Like I was really, really bad. Couldn't breathe. Nobody knew why. I mean, I had severe mental, physical, emotional issues. The place where I was, it was like very, very bad. And I couldn't sleep. The neighbors didn't let me sleep. Was drilling, hammering for 2 years non-stop. Couldn't sleep for 2 years. My body was like in a horrendous inflammation and affect my body so severely I can't even describe it to you. I've done tons of lab tests. Nothing came out. I have a paper. I was looking great, but I was dying inside. So then I took my health in my own hand, because for 1 year going to micro specialists at Harvard that I handpicked, none of them couldn't help me. None of them. None. The micro specialists couldn't help me. So I took my health in my own hands and created my own protocols, and this is how I not only saved my life, but I built the scientist total health transformation protocol. And this is no medication, zero medication. This is how I launched my journals, which saved my life, my techniques, my protocols, everything I eat, supplements I took, all of it. So all of that all together helped me. My mindset, how I overcame everything, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it I teach and help my clients and students too. And it works, let me tell you, within 48 hours. So that is 4-week program, a personalized program, but again, it works within 48 hours because again, I'm doing this also for our cancer patients in a different way, for cancer related, but more than 90% of our patients within 13 years of me working with cancer patients or cancer organizations are to date either cancer-free or still alive. So basic science is critical. I know my body, I know how body works, mental, physical, emotional, and I know the science. So that's why, because I see this everything as a whole, and I'm teaching this to you and also apply myself every single day. And this is how I can actually not only myself overcome illnesses, but also help people to overcome symptoms, but also have a better life, healthier life, and also change their lives in completely 180 degrees on a variety of levels. So if you're interested in that, I can help one-on-one for 1 hour. I have a power hour. I can help you solve one problem, or we can work with you for 4 weeks, create a personalized plan for you, and change your life based on your specific needs in your life. Okay, so all the links are below. Happy to work with you, so take advantage of that if you like. I'm happy to help you. So now let's talk then about how health is actually built. So there are 3 inputs that there are multiple strongest evidence, but these are the major evidences that are a base for a maintained healthy system in your body. And this is sleep, especially deep sleep, movement, and inflammation management. These are the cores, and I can 100 billion% agree with that based on what I did for myself. And of course, these are also very much involved and included in mental health as well. Not only physical health, but mental health, because they're all connected, as I just mentioned. So now first let's talk about the deep sleep. For me, sleep is, as a person with neurohypersensitivity, sleep is the thing. It's everything. And I can tell you, I cracked the code of sleep, okay? During that time when I couldn't sleep for 2 years because of my neighbors, which I have been fighting against for 2 years, and nobody could really help to figure out who is doing this and why they are doing these constructions 24/7 for 2 years. God knows. But in any case, for me, as I always say, take my food away, but not my sleep. You know the phrase, right? Health is wealth. Sleep is health. Full stop. Sleep is everything. If you want to be healthy, sleep. That's it. If you want to be healthy, sleep, okay? Drink water and sleep. Food is really secondary here. Drink water and sleep. That's it. That's what you need to be healthy, okay? I'm telling you. I, again, cracked the code for a really, really good sleep because I'm sleeping so well. I always keep thinking to write a book about this, but I don't want to put so much time. I don't have much time to actually write a big, gigantic book, but I want to make it practical and get it out there as soon as possible. So I would like to rather write an ebook or something, like a very practical, here's what I did, here's the science and the practical solutions, so that it can really help people right away and as soon as possible, rather than write this like a huge book. I think it will be more helpful. So if you are interested in that, sign up for my free newsletter so that you can be the first person to informed when I am ready to launch that. You can even get a pre-launch price, and you will be the first ones who are having access to that, or even a launch price or something when I'm actually doing this, okay? So because for me the key was the sleep, okay? And again, as a person with neurohypersensitivity, I had to crack the code. I just had to, okay? I knew the science, but the practical way is so important, especially if you live in an environment where it doesn't allow you to sleep. Variety of factors. So I have all of this included. All of it, because I lived through all of it, okay? There's so many research, but the newest research I want to share with you today, and this is in 2012, a scientist from Rochester University, Michael Nedergrant, found that, think about, I just literally mentioned this right now for my dad and explained this to him because we talk a lot about sleep, and my dad has very little sleep, and I for literally a decade, I was explaining to my dad all sorts of biology regarding how important it is for him to sleep. So he's a very disciplined person. He wakes up during the night. He has his schedule that he never breaks, but he sacrifices a lot from his sleep, or has sacrificed from his sleep almost his entire life. Thank God he's still very cognitively functioning well and very active, but still I literally explained this to him as well just now. So if you think about the dishwasher, right? So the dishwasher, at the end of the day, we put our dirty dishes in the dishwasher machine, and then in the evening let it all flush out, right? So what this researcher has found is that there is in our brain, if you think like a dishwasher machine that flushes all the dirt out that is accumulated throughout the entire day, toxins or environmental factors or some residues that could damage the cells, the DNA, and those are all being flushed out during night as you sleep, and only as you sleep, only when you sleep, okay? And he called the system as glymphatic system, the glymphatic system, okay? So that is our brain's dishwasher machine, the glymphatic system. Basically, it flushes out the metabolic waste. And this, my friend, also includes the protein that is associated with Alzheimer's disease. So as you can see, a lot of things, I mean, I'm not even going to the hormones that only being expressed. That's my go-to education when I talk about sleep, and I'm talking about this for, I would say, at least 25 years. When I talk about sleep, there are hormones expressed in the brain and in our body when we are sleeping. That's my go-to sleep scientific explanation, but this is a new science that I'm explaining to you now. If you never heard of it, then here you go. You heard first from me. That's why if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment, and please tell me how is your sleep. I want to know, okay? So hit the like button as well, don't forget that, and also share this video with others. And also I want to be very clear, when you cut short your sleep, when you are not sleeping well and give time for this glymphatic system to flush out the metabolic waste, then your system will still have this metabolic waste in your body, and that can, again, as I mentioned, damage cells or organs. So that is another reason, again, multiple reasons, is another reason of why you should not cut your sleep short and be really in a good night's sleep. The second thing is the movement, and I cannot tell you enough how critical this is. That's why for me, during the time when I saved my own life, the second thing that I've also done is I'm still doing, I take long walks. I have multiple videos about that, because for me, that's not only meditation, but also physical activity. It flushes everything out of my brain. It helps me mentally, it helps me physically, and I will come back home and I'm like mentally, physically, emotionally energized. It's just like magic. I'm telling you, take long walks, whatever long walk means for you. I am pretty active, like my body, because I'm a former athlete, so I'm very much active. For me, it's total for me like an hour. The first 30 minutes is like, or maybe even 10 minutes is literally, I would say 30 minutes flashing my brain out, it just goes, everything goes out, and then my brain goes into alpha state. And in that alpha state, then magic happens. Like I get $1 million ideas, and I'm like, all of this. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this and that and the other, and have these brilliant ideas because my brain is in an alpha state. And then after that, I'm like, okay, my brain is completely flushed out. I can feel it completely. It's like all worries are gone, and I'm in alpha state. I have these gigantic ideas, but then I still feel, okay, my body still has to be active, so that I continue walk until my body gets tired, and then I know, okay, time to go back, okay, because then my entire body is like flashed out. It's just so amazing. So I keep saying that I can't do this thing, I can't do meditation That's my meditation. And also there are enormous amount of research talk about the importance of physical activity, cancer related, but also overall in your body, how much it is related to all health regulation. And also again, it has been newly found, and you will hear this for the first time from me, even the cancer community doesn't know that yet, and there's a really strong evidence in science that 40% a person who is active, their cells, cancer cells, can be reduced for 40%. So muscle activities like working out muscles, that is associated now, as science has found, for 40% reduction of cancer cells. So I'm telling you, this is new research, how much muscles really is involved in our health. So this is, again, you hear this for the first time, I'm pretty sure, from me, because even as I said, the cancer community is also not even talking about this. Brand new science. Happy to share that with you. Here is the thing I want to explain to you, another science based on this. So the Harvard researcher have found that when you exercise and your heart rate goes up, your body expresses a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And Harvard psychiatrist John Ratey has spent years and years in researching BDNF, and he found that BDNF supports brain health, supports the growth of new brain cells, strengthens memory and learning. It also regulates the mood and directly reduces baseline inflammation. As you can see, mentally, physically, and emotionally, being active and raising the heart rate as being active regulates multiple systems in our body. And as you can see, there is a protein has been found that is directly associated with brain health, and also from the mental and cognitive health wise. It is also very, very important what the connection is between movement, heart rate, and the protein that's been expressed in the brain that also helps brain health and mental health. Unreal, guys. Unreal. So again, we don't need woo-woo people, we need science. Hit the like button for that, okay? So the third and very, very important, as I mentioned, is inflammation management. Oh, so critical. Research in multiple journals has already confirmed that having baseline chronic inflammation or chronic low-grade inflammation, as I mentioned before, the one that is quiet and persistent, that derives from poor sleep, eating ultra-processed food or processed food, really can impair cognitive function, it changes your mood, causes depression, anxiety, brain fog, right? Nobody talks about that, brain fog, and also accelerates biomarkers of aging. You will completely see this in person's face, okay? And the main drivers of this chronic low-grade inflammation is something that we have control over and we can have control over, and that is unresolved stress, fragmented sleep, ultra-processed food, and prolonged social disconnection. Please don't forget that loneliness and isolation is really, really bad for your health and can increase your chronic low-grade inflammation that is lingering underneath and damages your body. And again, critical thing here is to make sure everything you can to reduce anything in your life that increases the chance to have chronic low-grade inflammation that is in your baseline and slowly but surely ruins your body. This is so critical and the key, I would say, in your body for good health. So now let's quickly talk about your assignment, and we have a audit for you this week, and this is your health regulation audit. Every single day I need you to, and you will do a check for every single day, worksheets that for every single day I prepared for you, and you will check every single day your sleep, your movement, your recovery, and then you will calculate all of it together and see what factors are good, what factors need improvement, and what factors are actually driving your health, and what you also need to improve on. This will be a great data set and data point for you, and based on that, and if you even want to work with me, we can have that as a baseline, and then voila, this will be your critical data set that you bring to me, and then we can look over and can better your lifestyle and create a plan for you that helps to improve these factors. And also we can assess what causes all of this, because you write down for each one sentence, and so you can have actually for you a great data point that you can hold on to for the rest of your life. And you can even see next year, you can do it again, and then you can see how much you can change. Oh my god, that will be amazing. Also maybe after you work with me, and then you can do the assessment again and you can see the difference. Oh my god, I'm excited for you already. Okay, I can't wait to work with you. So again, the links are below, okay? So I want to close by saying I am healthy does not mean that nothing is ever wrong. It simply means that I understand what my body needs to stay regulated, and I am actively paying attention to give it what it needs to ensure this balanced and regulated state in my body. That's what it means to be healthy. Again, being healthy is not a destination you will reach. It is rather a process that you either support with your actions or you don't. That's what it is. What is the glymphatic system? The glymphatic system is again a dishwasher machine that flushes out your metabolic waste during your sleep. And what is BDNF again? BDNF is a protein expressed when your heart rate goes up, when you do movement, and that in turn builds the brain, makes our brain healthier. And what does the vagus nerve, the largest nerve in our body that restores your system when you recover? Again, all of these are functioning well in our body. The back and forth, the process between these systems is what makes our body healthy. These are mechanisms built well in our body. Normally, they function well, but it's our responsibility to ensure that these systems, these mechanisms work well together. So it is our responsibility and our decision to decide whether we support these well-functioning systems or not with our day-to-day habits and behavior. So my role here is to help you to understand what those are. Hopefully I was successful in doing so, and I'm happy to support you with that, and I'm happy to integrate your day-to-day life into now develop your new health habits so that you can finally take charge of your health. At first, understand your health and your body, what you are doing that is either hindering you or helping you, and what can we build from there to have a better plan going forward. So I'm so happy that you're here. Join me on this. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments I'm really curious about your sleep, your movement, and what you do to reduce inflammation actively, so that I can better understand what your health habits are. I can see through that, and then we can discuss in the comments. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to download your Neurohypersensitivity workbook and your health audit, and I will see you there.